welcome back.
Welcome back, everybody, to Chris. What is this podcast called?
Mental Recovery Podcast.
Oh, so that's what it's called.
That's what it's called, and it's hosted by three of the weirdest people you will ever meet in the world.
MTRP, baby.
MTRP.
That sounds dirty.
The hell? What do you mean it sounds dirty?
All right, we're switching this one up. We're going to talk about some real deep shit.
Yep, gear shift.
I'd say
Slow down.
if there was going to be a very dark episode, I'd say this is probably the darkest that we have gone over so far.
Probably.
It's going to touch on a lot of very triggering things.
Yeah. So trigger warning right now. We were talking about suicide. It is a major thing. One of the biggest things I wanted to talk about. The number will be at the bottom of the screen the whole time. I want you guys to make sure you understand that. It is not an answer to anything. If you need help, seek help. Any way you can. Therapy, friends, family, animals, it does not matter. Suicide is not the answer. If you need help, if you need anything, call the number, go on our Discord, go on our Instagram. Any way you want to reach us or reach out to anybody, reach out. Help is always there. I'm going to state some stats right off the bat. Worldwide, on average, 703,000 people a year commit suicide.
Worldwide.
In 2020, in the U.S., 45,979 people committed suicide. That is 130 suicides per day. 130 people per day.
130 people leaving their family, losing a loved one.
Losing their friends. It's insane.
It's disheartening. It's saddening.
It's something that a lot of people talk about, but don't actually talk about, if that makes sense. A lot of people bring noise to it, but not enough people stay on the topic of it.
Yeah, they bring it to attention, but they never fully dive into it because people are scared. And we're going to try and change that.
And
At least a little bit.
One of the major ones for us, and why I see this, men are 3 times more likely to commit suicide than women. 3 times. 70% of those suicides were white males. Every 11 and a half minute, somebody committed suicide. The only good part about it is 93% of adults that were asked think suicide can be prevented. I think those other 7% are idiots. It's 100% of people should think that suicide can be prevented.
Because it absolutely can.
There's just no... And this is a topic I'm very emotional on. This is one that is very hard for me to speak logically from.
I'm sure that we all are a little bit reticent to discuss this one, but it needs to be brought to the light.
Yeah. It's just... There's different suicides, and I'm not talking about the, going to a state that allows it because you have cancer or whatever it is.
Physician-assisted suicide.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that at all. I think sometimes that is an answer for those people because if literally you have a disease eating you, it is very hard. But if your disease is just depression or anxiety, seek help. Don't look out the window. Don't just drive by. Seek help. Go to your friends, go to your family, go to your therapist, call the number at the bottom of the screen. Seek help. All 3 of us have had suicidal thoughts. All 3 of us have tried to take our own lives because we thought that was the only answer.
Some of us multiple times.
It is not the only answer. Honestly, if I did not have these 2 next to me, it would be very hard to see it as not an answer. But just like that story says, I have much more to live for. I have 2 people that don't really rely on me, but to a certain extent, they do. And I rely on them just as much. I need to let them know how much I love you guys. First off, both of you. One of you a little bit longer. Same amount of love. But suicide is just one of those things that hits hard. Just like that car. No.
Excuse the car. Sorry about that.
No, we're good. It goes through. But I've seen somebody try to do it. I've seen somebody do it. I have tried. So this one just hits me a little bit harder. So with that, I'm not going to be the first one talking about this. One of you can talk about it. I need to figure out what I'm going to say.
I think we're all kind of somewhat in that boat because similar to you, I've tried myself. I've multiple times. I have seen somebody try and fail. I've seen two people try and succeed. Not like I was there the whole time. I've had one of my friends die in my arms after trying because I didn't know how to help him at the age and the time in my life that it was, besides calling for help. This is a very rough topic.
And that's putting it lightly.
But one that needs to be talked about.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the good things about us talking about this today, is a lot of people bring attention to it, like you said. Some people talk about it, but how many people get real about it and really explain themselves to a large group of people? How many times do you actually hear someone really talk about their experience with this? It's rare, and that's what we're going to be doing here today.
We tell you guys a lot that we're always there for you, and we stand by every word of that. In any time, whatever you need, we will do our best to help you, to do what we can to make your situation not feel as much of a burden as it is. Personally, I've attempted and was nearly successful 3 times. The last time I had to get cut down. And it's never easy to talk about. I'm getting a little choked up just thinking about it because all I can think of from then is, why was I so ready to just end it over a situation that's going to eventually resolve itself? And my mindset on it is, it's never an answer. It should never even be a contestant for the answer. It just needs to be talked about and brought to the light. And if you are having those thoughts, reach out to someone, anyone. Even if you think nobody's going to miss you when you're gone, oh, they will. Somebody will. Nobody thinks about the repercussions. Everybody just thinks, oh, the world will be better when I leave, or the world would be better without me here. No, that is not the case at all.
That is some people that they think that.
Yeah.
I'm just going to ask a question right off the bat. First time you tried, what was the reasoning behind it?
The reasoning behind it?
Yeah.
It's going to sound absolutely ridiculous, but it was because my father was locked up.
Okay.
I didn't have him for most of my life when I was younger. And because of the situation that I was in living with my grandparents, I went over this in the families episode, I wasn't able to talk to anybody, or I didn't feel like I could talk to anybody. So my first attempt, I was in my backyard. We had our deck and like something covering our deck, like
it was like
shade
a patio, basically.
Yeah, basically. And on one of the parts, we had a hammock going across the 2 supports. I laid on the hammock, got one of those retractable dog leashes, hooked it to a bolt that was hanging off the garage for some of the backyard equipment that we had. Pulled it over, wrapped it around my neck, sat in the hammock, going all the way, like swinging it all the way back. And then I let my feet go. Thankfully, it wasn't near tight enough, and all I got was rope burn on my neck. But it left a decent scar for a while because rope burn is still a burn, and it was right across here.
So, because your dad was locked up, mentally, what were you feeling that made you want to do it?
I was feeling alone. I was feeling absolute just loneliness, depression. And this was when I couldn't have been more than 6 or 7. But that young. And I'm already thinking life's over.
Yeah. Justin?
Was 16. I think at the time it was very similar, which was loneliness. Felt like I had no real outlet for what I was feeling. I felt different to everybody else. I felt like no one understood me. I didn't even know what was going on with myself at the time. Because at the time I didn't know I had ADHD. I didn't know that was the reason I had no drive. Any form of passion had been basically beaten out of me by family members besides my father. But at the time I was working and I didn't really see my dad very often, and I was working myself to the bone every single day, and I just constantly had the thought of, I'm alone anyway. What's the point? What's the point in life? Why do I need to be here for this? This doesn't seem that special. I've tried 3 times. The first one, the one I'm currently talking about, was I tried via pills. I tried to basically, I can't take pills. I've never been able to take pills well. It's a rough thing.
So
I basically chugged a bottle. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did just OD. I've always been a very logical person, so I picked a time to do it when I knew no one was going to be home, or I knew I was alone. No one could stop me. Essentially, I'd just be found. I didn't take enough. By the time I woke up, none of my family was home still, because again, I picked a good time to do it, technically. A good time to do it, if there is such a thing.
Which there isn't.
Exactly. And didn't take enough, woke up. I remember looking at the clock and going, they're going to be home in like 30 minutes. So, tucked the bottle back into the cabinet. I'm obviously groggy because I just took a hell of a lot of pills. Woke up throwing up. Went to bed. I do remember, however, waking up the next morning. And this is actually a thought I had every single time. Was there a reason it didn't work? Was there a reason I failed? I never thought about it as after the fact of it happening. I never thought, I just didn't take enough, I'll try again later. It was always, is there a reason it didn't work? Is there a reason? I've never been a religious person, so I was never looking towards, say, God. But I did always wonder if there was a reason I failed. There's a reason I'm supposed to still be here. And that would actually keep me going for a little while. Sure, the depression, the anxiety, and all the other issues I have would still be laying in the background. But I felt that there was a reason for at least a few months, usually after the fact, that I failed for a reason. Despite me. Again, I tried 3 times. I tried 2 more times after that and failed both, obviously. But
Thankfully.
there's always a thought. It's rough to go back to those times, you know?
It is.
Being where I'm at now. And
Well, they always say hindsight is 20/20.
yeah.
What you see that you did in the past, you always see in much clearer vision than at that current time, because at that current time you're being ruled by emotion.
It's like current time you're being ruled by emotion and you don't know the future. Once you know the future, that's why hindsight's 20/20 is now you know what comes after with the decision you made. And you know what would have came after if the decision had been made.
All the things you would have missed.
Or the alternate option, I guess. So.
All the things you would have missed, all the people you wouldn't have seen. If you had succeeded,
I would never have met either of you. Would have never met my girlfriend. Would have never had my son. Would have never had my child that's on the way.
And this is what I mean by it's a long-term solution for a short-term problem. Because back then, when you did do it, how quickly did it clean itself up after that? Like, how quickly did your situation clear up after the final attempt?
Well, my 3 attempts were over the course of, I think I was 22 last time I tried. So this was over a course of 6 years.
But
there was a good chunk of time in between where it was just a lot of debating on whether to try again. So even now, a lot of those things aren't clear necessarily, but I'm also no longer in a headspace where I would want to try again, and I haven't been for a while now. I wouldn't necessarily say my situation's cleared. I still feel lonely sometimes. I still have that depression in the background. I still have anxiety all the time. It's just being that I've grown up a bit and the things I've gone through in life and the people I've seen, and I've seen the repercussions of the act to the people around those people, even to myself being one of the people around those people. I now realize it's not an option. There's ways to let out your emotions if you need to. There's ways to fix solutions that seem unfixable.
There's ways to ask for help.
Exactly. I don't know if I'll ever get back to that place. I don't know if I'll be away from it forever, but I hope I never go back. And I don't see myself going back anytime soon. There's just no reason anymore.
If you do, we will not be friendly. We will do everything we can to prevent you from doing things.
If I kill myself, you too would kill me for killing myself, okay?
I'd bring you back.
Bring me back just to kill me again, then bring me back one more time just to yell at me?
No, I'd just bring you back. I'd bring you back and do my best to comfort you. Because that's not something anybody should go through. Any family should go through. A single stone can cause an avalanche. A single quake in the Earth's crust can cause a tsunami that wipes out millions. Just because you think what you do has no effect on anything doesn't mean it's true. There are tens, hundreds, thousands of people who will feel the aftermath of that action. You may not even know them, but they'll hear it from a friend who heard it from a friend who heard it from your family and how grief-stricken they are. And I'm sorry I'm talking a lot, but this is just something that
if you need to talk, especially here, you can talk. Well, if you feel some type of way about something, let it out. This is the podcast to do it if there ever has been one. Speak your truth. Speak everything you need to get out.
Yeah.
And we are here.
And I apologize in advance if I stumble my words because I'm a little bit dumb, but just know that there's somebody out there, somebody willing to help you. Hell, there's 3 of them right here. If you ever have... Sorry. I'm dumb. If you ever have those thoughts, feel free to reach out to any of us. We will be more than happy to talk you through it. Talk you down off that ledge. Talk you out of that bottle of pills. Talk that rope off your neck. Whichever way you plan on doing it. But for the love of everything, think. Stop. If you need it, go to a therapist. If this helps you, listen to us. If it helps you even more, talk to us. Send us an email. Send us a message. Hop on Discord. Let's talk.
I want to say something real quick. You've been saying think. At least in my case, sometimes you need to stop thinking. Sometimes that can take you farther. Sometimes stop thinking. Just come. Don't think about it. Just say our Discord. Just click it. Click that voice channel. Let it out. Stop thinking. If you need to think, think. If you need to stop thinking, stop thinking. But don't let yourself get to that place.
And if you feel like you're overthinking it, take a step back. Look at the bigger picture.
Sometimes that bigger picture is harder to see, but it's there. It's always there, whether you see it or not. For some people, it may seem like an only way out. For some people, it may seem like the best option. For some people, it may seem like, oh, the bigger picture just makes it look worse. You need to remember that bigger picture you're looking at, there's a bigger one. There's always a bigger one. There may be people that in your bigger picture you don't realize that are there, or even in that extra little bit bigger that you weren't paying attention to. There's someone, there's something to live for. There's someone or something that has your back. Someone or something that will be there for you. Whether you realize it or not, there is. This is coming from someone. 3 of us that have been there, have tried, and now realize that there is that someone, there is that something, there is that reason to be here, whether it seems like there isn't or not.
My someones are in this room.
My someones are in this room, they're at home, they're in my dog. Seeing that tail wag even. I
was going to say, in the dog? What are they doing in the dog?
Her feelings.
I'm sorry.
Don't you down talk Lucy. You know she's a gorgeous little girl.
A little spastic, but yes.
She's a little bit of a spaz, but I love my dog to the end of the year.
A little bit is an understatement. She is spastic.
You haven't even seen her when she's worse. But anyway. Chris, I know you said you didn't want to be the first one to talk, but we've both talked a little bit. Do you want to maybe get into it a little bit?
No.
If you're ready or not?
No.
If you're not ready, you don't have to.
No, it's just everyone sees it differently. Everybody does. Mm-hmm. You're both talking, take a step back, bigger picture, somebody's there, whatever it is. You know, there's all these different versions of it on the mental part of it. Mm-hmm. In the end, it's not a different outcome. In the end, you're taking your own life. That is not an answer. But I guess for me, death, friends, like family, all that stuff, I see it a little bit different. And so it's like the first time I tried, I was, I think, 16, 17. It was right after my sister went for college. It had nothing to do with losing somebody or anything like that. It was me thinking about myself going, I'm getting compared to her so much. And then now she's going to college. My family's so happy about that. I'm never going to college. I'm not smart enough for that. I know that. I'm not a school person. So I just kept comparing myself to her and going, well, she's going to be this. She's going to be that. Why am I even here? Why am I here? Like my sister, they got their perfect child with her. Why am I here?
So it's a feeling of inferiority?
No, it's just, it was judging myself. It was trying to be what my parents wanted from her for me, but knowing I'm not going to give them that. Like that just, I never wanted to go to school. I never cared about getting a high school diploma. I never cared about going to college. I never cared. Like there was nothing there for me there because I know mentally I'm not that person. I don't like school. Right. So then my sister goes and they're both ecstatic. My dad's going to pay for it. But yeah, like just everything's perfect for her. And there's just me in school going, well, I got another C, so that's good enough. Like, I'm cool with it. I'm not worried about it.
I think I was going to say, I think we were all in the C gang.
I was pulling that D+ gang.
Just barely scraping by.
But no, it was one of those things. And I was going, I need a high school diploma to go into the military. I need certain things to do what I want to do. But other than that, what they want isn't going to come out of me. So why am I here? And that was the first time I've even thought about ending my own life. That was the first time I've ever thought about suicide. There was no other point ever when I was younger going, oh, this, oh, that, oh, this thing happened to me, so I'm sad about it. Oh, this thing happened to me, I'm sad about it. There was nothing that made me sad enough that I want to end my life. It was literally me going, I'm not good enough. Not even saying I'm sad about it. Just going, I'm not good enough. I don't need to be here. And I just went, I'm not my sister. They got my sister. I'm good. And I wanted to kill myself. I'm not saying I tried right then and there, but there was down the road a little bit is when I tried. Nothing happened from it. I was like, okay. Again, I didn't take a step back and go, oh, what was that? There was nothing. It was another day that just went by and I didn't think twice about it. The second time was a lot different. The second time was graduated high school, went to the military, got discharged for losing 70% of my hearing, came home. The girl I was with, we broke up. My dog got hit by a car in front of me. My grandma died in the hospital, all within 4 months of each other. So career was gone, family was gone. Now my best friend, my grandma's gone. My best friend that was my dog is gone. I really have no reason to live. Like that's everything all so close together that I went, I don't need to be here. Like I just failed this. I failed that. I failed being there for her. I failed being there for my grandma. I failed making sure my dog was inside. I failed my family for not having the military. I failed myself for losing 70% of my hearing. What am I doing? I'm just a failure. I need to leave. And I went into my garage, put a rope, grabbed one of the pieces of wood, put my head in it, stepped off the chair, hung for maybe 5 seconds and fell. The wood broke. So now I'm sitting on the floor crying, not even thinking, oh, I didn't do it. Like crying, thinking, oh, I almost committed suicide. How dumb. And there was no thought process there. I was crying going, dude, I can't even kill myself correctly. I just messed up all this other shit and I can't even kill myself. Am I that big of a failure? Like, I'm never going to be my sister. I'm never going to be what my dad wanted me to be. I'm never going to be what my mom wanted me to be. Like, I'm never going to do when I was 6 years old when I told my family I wanted to go in the military. I'm never going to be able to do that. I lost that. I have this girl, high school sweetheart, basically, the girl I lost my virginity to, and I loved all that, but I failed her because I was a piece of shit. Like, didn't cheat or anything. I was just a piece of shit. And I just literally looked at it going, fail, 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 fail. And there was nothing. Like it wasn't my only escape, but it was, I need to do this because I can't do anything else. And then I try, and that's the one thing that I should be able to do. I should be able to kill myself. It's okay, let me stop breathing. Oh, that's an easy one. And then I try to do it and it doesn't work. Okay, well, I guess I'm going to continue living. Like, I guess I'm going to do other stuff. There wasn't a part of me the next day that went, man, who would have found me? Would it have been my dad, my brother, my mom, a friend? Like, I don't know. I never had that thought. I never cared. When I was in the military, I saw 2 kids kill themselves. One I think, one I know. So even coming home and doing it, it wasn't something that I looked at and went like, oh my God, like, I can't imagine what death looks like. I just went through so much death so quick that I was like, hey, what's up, buddy? Like, you want to come take me? Because I'm done. Like, I don't need to be here.
On the last episode, but right after my miscarriage.
Yeah.
What was the point? That's where my brain went to. What the fuck is the point? That was what was going to keep me living my life. That was going to give me that thing to live for myself, was to live for my child. And it was gone. That's when I got actually that's what I think I talked to you about this prior, and you had talked to me about your outlook on it. And it actually spoke to me as well. I don't need to live my life for others. It's live my life for myself. I mean, I still live my life somewhat for others, being the people who rely on me immediately, being my girl, being my kid on the way. I will constantly live for them. But I'm now also living for myself, and I'm looking at myself as my priority.
Yeah.
Because how do I know? I don't know my potential. I don't know what I believe in myself, but I know eventually I'll find that. And I can live for that. I can live for what I believe in. I can live for myself, and I can live for the things that I want to do. the things I want to achieve, the things I want to do, and not for anybody else, but for myself. And I never really had that thought process. I had the one I've been talking about prior with him, which is, oh, look at the bigger picture. I still think that's a valid thing for some people to need to see, but there are people that need to see it in your light of live for yourself.
Everybody has different thoughts. We're just giving perspectives. We're not trying to say follow our thought process exactly. We're just saying, hey, this is how we think. Maybe you think the same. If you think differently, you can go with his. If you think differently than both of these options, think the way you want. But it's just not... How do I want to say this? I don't know how to put it in words. It's not the best course of action for that situation. Suicide should never be...
Yeah, it's never the answer to a question you don't even know.
Exactly.
That's why I wrote
Thank you for fixing my words.
That's really what it is. For me, it's looking at suicide going, yes, this podcast could go on without me, but I want to be on this podcast. I want to make sure this is here. I want to make sure I talk to them and go, hey, I'm listening. I'm here. I care. I love you. You can find anybody else to do that. Doesn't mean I don't want to. And I think that's what saves myself more and more and more every time. Because I'm not going to say I'm never not going to think about suicide. I don't know. I know it's not an answer. That's what I know. It's not an answer. But it doesn't mean the thoughts don't come up.
They always come up.
Like, there are plenty of times, and everybody understands it, where you're driving. I can just turn real quick. I can just...
those intrusive thoughts.
Into that truck. Oh, I could go off this bridge. Oh, I could go ride a bike and crash.
If I turn my wheel just hard enough left, I'm going to roll.
Yeah. But no, people look at it that way, and it's not because it's just they want to do it. It's just one of those thoughts that come up when you're honestly dark. Mm-hmm. When you've been through life. But it's also one of those when you're like, you kind of play chicken with death when you understand death.
I completely agree with that.
Like, there's times that, me and him weren't the smartest drivers. When we first got our cars, we were not the smartest drivers. I understood death.
I was smart for a good month.
Yeah, no.
No, I wasn't. First day I got my license,
almost
tried to
crashed
hit and run.
Yeah. But anyways,
it wasn't. I didn't hit anybody. They sideswiped me while I was pulling out of the curb.
But no, it's just like that. Like, me and you understand death. We understand what it means, what it does to people, everything with it. So then we got our cars and we were driving like idiots. Like, just flat out. We would drive like idiots. We'd be going way too fast when we shouldn't. We'd take turns way faster than we should. We'd go too slow at times. Like, there's just stuff we did.
Honk at train horns at people.
Yeah.
I understood death from a different degree. I did die. I died. And when you come out of that, that's where my real relationship with death formed. Was, I died. I'm still here. Death, you suck at your job.
Yeah, see, mine wasn't that, but I understand where that is. Because it's the same with...
I don't really know how to deal with things with humor.
But no, it's really what it is, though. If I'm being dead honest, it was probably about 3 months ago. The last time I thought about it.
About the same for me.
Like, we were thinking about starting a podcast. I was talking about this like it was just, all right, we're here doing it. It's cool. It's nice. I'm glad I'm with my friends. I'm glad I'm able to talk and have somebody listen, hopefully. But still, at the end of the day, I just don't care what the other people think. At the end of the day, I'm still like, sometimes death seems like a good answer. When I got in my motorcycle accident, I was more upset that I woke up that I didn't die. That is the realest thing I'll ever say in my life.
I told you guys this was going to be real. You're starting to see it now.
And we already know it's okay to cry. It's okay to let it out.
There's something I've said for a long time. To myself. I don't think I've ever said it to anybody else. Including these guys. Death for me will always be a friend. He's someone that never goes away. Something that's always on my mind. Something I think about constantly. Does it always go to necessarily suicide? No. But I'm not afraid of it. There have been many times in my life where I've had the same thought he had. Of, wish I didn't wake up. Why did I wake up? What was this could have all ended, whether it be by accident or on purpose, and I'm still here, having to go through the same damn struggles every goddamn day. And sometimes it gets so heavy.
I look at it more like I feel like I would be loved more if I was dead. That's how I felt on that accident. I felt like if I died, more people would show up to my funeral than people would to a birthday party. That's why it's the realest thing I'll ever say in my life. Because I honestly feel like most friends are just there. They want to see where you go, what it is, whatever. And that's it. They don't care if you succeed or if you fail. They just want to see it. Most people want it, like most of the friends want to see you fail. And I feel like most people I know, if I died, that would be the first time they'd actually be able to say how they really felt. I feel like most people that know me, again, because I'm more logical, is they look at it and they go, well, it's Chris. He doesn't, he cares about me but doesn't care about me. Again, I don't care what your perspective for me is. That's the whole thing. I don't care what your perspective for me is. I care about you as a person. Him saying, oh, I'll miss you if you're gone. Cool.
Well, I think that leads back to what you've already said, which is, yeah, you're going to be missed for a while. But eventually, time moves on. Yeah. Life keeps going for everybody. And eventually that thought leaves.
Death isn't final. True death is when you're forgotten.
Yeah. I've been saying before. And eventually that happens. And sometimes it's faster for some people than others. And what he said right now, I feel like more people would show up to my funeral than to a birthday party.
Oh, absolutely. I feel
it's exactly
that's what it is.
I've never even had a birthday party.
That's what it is. I have a picture from mine when I was 8 years old, or whatever it is, with 3 of my friends. Mm-hmm. That's probably the biggest birthday party I had.
If I had a birthday party just this coming year, there's about a list of 30 some odd people I'd invite. I feel like you two would show up, and that's about it. Maybe. I feel like everyone else. Thank you. Honestly, it is a maybe. We don't know if you're going to be working that day.
Oh, I will get that time off. I will call in sick.
Have you seen me make plans? It's gonna be last minute, buddy.
Oh, I'm highly aware, Mr. Flakes on everything.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think that applies the maybe to all of us because we both know I fucking suck. But
it's just I understand suicide's not an answer, but I think death is, and I think that's what's really fucked up in my head.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think suicide's an answer. I don't think killing yourself is what you should do on anything. I don't think if you're having a bad day, you get laid off of work. Everything that happened to me, stop touching me. But everything that happened, I'm kidding.
No, because I love you.
I know. But everything that happened to me, the answer shouldn't have been suicide. Very simple. It really shouldn't be. It should be ask for help. When all that stuff happened to me, I should have went to friends and asked for help. I should have went to a therapist and asked for help. I just don't believe in therapy, so I won't do it because it's somebody random, whatever. But going to friends is one of the big things I will always do. When something major happens, I normally do that, or I play games with friends. That's just what it is. But I do think death is an answer, unfortunately, in my head. So when something like my motorcycle accident happened, I woke up, as everyone knows, I didn't call anybody.
Mm-mm. No, I didn't find out till, a few days later?
Yeah, I didn't tell anybody. It wasn't, guys, don't forget about me, look at me. It's, again, I don't care about your view of me. I know who I am. Let me help you if you need it. You don't need my view. You don't need me to look at you and go, this is what I think you should do because of whatever. If you ask for it, sure, I will do it. But that shouldn't be the deciding factor for you. It should be yourself going, this is what I should do for myself. So when I woke up from that accident, I thought I was dead. I was really hoping I was dead. But instead, it was me and my dad both on the floor, opposite bikes, but him hurt, me not thinking I was hurt, and I ended up being hurt. But it was just one of those things.
Which that story is.
Yeah, totally different. But I went to the hospital, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm just, The only person I told was Beer, and even that, and I will say that because that's not his name, and the only reason I told him was because we were supposed to go to the fair. And he was like, where are you? I was like, well, shit, now I have to say something. At the hospital. And then it was him and my brother. Not this one.
Yeah, we know the one.
So that was it. And even that, I was like, why are you both here? Like, I don't need either of you here. I'd rather you be at my funeral than try to, like, help me because I really don't need the help. I'm in a wheelchair, like, kind of stuff. But, like, the physical help, I don't need help. And I was like, that's just where I get annoyed, but that's different. But,
little do you know they were going to play Mario Kart with you.
Yeah, basically. But it was just one of those things that, like, I woke up and then it was over time, like, me and my dad talking and me going, I was out for, like, what, 10 seconds? And no, you were out for, like, 30 seconds. I thought you were dead. I looked at you, nothing was moving. And I was like, I probably was. Because they said at the hospital, my heart probably stopped from adrenaline. And then whenever I say that, most people go, oh, did you have that flash?
The white light.
Like, no, not even that. Like, everyone says you see your life.
Oh, flash before your eyes.
Flash
Right
before
before
your
the
eyes.
point of death. Yeah.
So everyone said, like, what did you feel? Like, what was yours? And I said relief. That's how I felt going through the air. Before I hit, and I don't remember. I remember going in the air and going, this is it. And then landing, and then just going, yeah. And everyone's going, well, did you think of your kid? Like, he was 2? And I was like, no.
I was never able to find the word to explain what you just said when I died. Because when I died, I was out for 30 seconds. Tell me, your heart stopped for 30 seconds. You were dead. We were about to try resuscitation. And then I just came to. And I got that same question from everybody when I went back to work 2 days later. My life didn't stop. I was in the hospital for 2 days because I was forced to be there. At the end result, they didn't have an answer for me. And I had a question from everybody. Oh, did you see it? Oh, what'd you see? What'd you see? What'd you see? Oh, we thought you were dead. That was the hardest one to hear, actually. Was, oh, I thought you were dead. And I was like, oh, great to know that's how you feel about my death.
Thanks.
Great. Cool. Barely even cared. You just thought it was a cool story. But they were like, did you see it? I'm like, see what? No, did you see your life flash before your eyes? Did you see a white light? What'd you see?
Did you see God? Yeah.
And I was like, nothing. I felt peace. I felt relief is the better word than peace.
No, and that's literally how I felt. That's why I'm saying the realest thing I'll ever say is I wish I died when I got in that motorcycle accident. That's not me trying to be anything. That's just literally, it's not me being dark. It's not anything like that. It's just I've always, if I went out, that's the way I would go out for sure. I'm pretty sure everyone that knows me will think it would be a car accident or something stupid. Because, again, free running, that's just all the dumb stuff. But I looked at it.
Your death would totally be by accident.
But it would just be peace. Like,
Oops.
that's it. Like, there was nothing. Everyone said, oh, you didn't think about your kid. You didn't think about your mom. You didn't think about your dad, your brothers, your friends. And I'm like, no. I thought about them after because I went, even them. Like, you guys would be at peace. I don't care what you say. You would be at peace. Because over time, it's just something that happens. It's life. It's the logical thing. People die. Like, that's just what it is.
And it's really easy to see when you've dealt with death before. You've seen people die. I've seen people die. I have someone die in my arms.
Yeah.
And guess what? Do I think about them every now and then? Of course. Of course I do. But my life moves on. Their death I don't want to say didn't have an effect on me, but in some scenarios it didn't.
No, and that's what I say with
The effect is, yeah, I think about them sometimes. But it doesn't affect my decisions. It doesn't affect the things I do. It doesn't affect who I am today, necessarily. It affected who I was at the time. But
a
few months go by, done.
with death. Okay, every time. Doug. Okay? We can think about Doug on death. It wasn't suicide, accident, motorcycle accident, same thing. Okay? Over time, no matter what, we will think about Doug.
Oh, I think about him every day.
But again, over time, there's not going to be anybody in the world that thinks about him.
Yeah, and eventually, more than likely, just like my grandfather, I'll get Alzheimer's and all that, and I'll just be like, "Who is that guy again?"
But it's just over time. So I can't look at death that way. Suicide, it affects me because, again, just as you guys, we have tried it. We've thought it was the answer. It is not. It's that simple. It really is not the answer. But again, death and suicide are two different things on that aspect. Because for me, death is an answer that I don't mind. Because just like you said, death is a friend. I don't look at death like I'm scared of it. I don't. Like, again, Ciotos, I'll see you on the other side. There's not a part of me that goes, oh, if I die, I will be missed, I will be mourned, I don't care. Put me in a jar and throw me in the ocean. I don't care what happens to me. I don't.
I want a Viking burial.
Huh?
I want a Viking burial.
Okay, whatever.
I've said it for years. I need you guys to make it happen. I don't think anyone else I know is going to make it happen.
I'll just play Game of Thrones music as it happens.
Yes.
But yeah, just throw them. But it's just one of those things. Like over time, it is something that just gets easier. It is because that day that we got called, I don't know when you got called.
I actually didn't. I went into where he used to work, and
oh yeah,
they had the donation jar for the funeral, and I was like, "This is a joke," because I think it was around April, so I figured April Fool's Day and all that stuff. But then they were
That's
like,
a hell of an April Fool's Day joke.
"Well, I thought I just went in there on his day off, but they were like, no, he passed away like a couple weeks ago now. They're gonna have the funeral in a month." And I don't remember what I did. From what I understand, I think I tried calling you to talk to you about it, see if you had found out, but I don't remember if that happened or not.
you tried calling me, but I was at work. I remember.
Oh.
Because you're like, did you know? And I was like, yeah. I got called the same day.
Yeah, I found out by going into his work, and that sucked.
Yeah.
But then again, he and I weren't as close as you and him. But on the other hand, I drive by where he's buried every day going to work. So I can wave to him and all that stuff. I've been to his grave a couple times since then. And when I was at the funeral service, it was a wonderful service.
Yeah. But getting back on the suicide part, because I just wanted to bring death up for a second just to balance, but not balance it. You said you had a friend that you lost in your arms. I'm not going to go into the story. You can do a very brief one. Just mentally, like you can say the story, and mentally, what were you thinking?
Despite what this podcast is, I have vowed to myself not to tell that whole story or the person's name.
You don't have to.
So I'm going to essentially skip ahead a bit.
Yeah, give out the abridged version.
Basically just went to visit a friend. He made his attempt. He essentially succeeded. And I walked in, and he was dead. Or dying. It was very short breaths that were very far apart. I knew what it was. And I figured I had no way to help him. There was a lot of blood. And all I could do was hold him. All I could do was hold him. That's it.
Take all the time you need.
He's one of the closest friends I'll ever have in my life. The hardest part about it is, even though I was dealing with it myself, which usually, as someone who deals with it, you can see it in someone else. I didn't see it in him. That came with a sense of blame on myself.
Which is understandable.
I blamed myself for not being there for him in the way I should have been, whether I knew or not. And I don't even remember if his eyes opened to see that I was the last one there with him. I don't think he did. I was looking at the blood for the most part. I looked at his face and his eyes were closed. I felt the breaths I had. I'm sure you guys have seen this before. I feel my pulse a lot. So I know what the damn pulse is. I was checking his pulse. That thing was slowing down. I didn't know what to do. I actually didn't even call until it was done. Until it was over. And that wasn't I want him to finish what he started. It was just, I'm not leaving this spot with him. I'm gonna be there. There's nothing that can stop this. It's too far. This can't be stopped at this point. I'm gonna be there with him. Hell, that came with some damn questions after the fact, which I was not in the right headspace for after seeing, but I will love him forever. He's one of the best friends I'll ever have. I will forever think about him. I see him when I sleep. I see him when I wake up. If being forgotten is true death, he will not die until I do.
That's a good line. Sorry.
I can't. He was actually, I don't want to say he was one of the reasons I attempted the third time, because it's not like it is, but it isn't. It's not like seeing that made me want to. It's knowing that he was gone at the time. He was the only one that I cared about being there, because he was the one that was giving me that support.
It wasn't,
because he was there for me.
Yeah.
Which made me feel even worse, because it's like I wasn't there for him.
Yeah. Again.
And that third one that I attempted came with a sense almost of, I want to be with him.
Exactly.
Even though I had already died. I've died before. I knew, it really solidified for me that there's nothing after death, to be totally honest, which is just my personal perspective. Some people believe in something, some people don't.
No.
I don't. But even though I don't, I was like, I just want to be with him. I don't care if he's gone. I don't care if I'll never see him again. Even if I do die, at least we'll be sharing that one last thing together. We're both dead.
Yeah.
And I love that dude. He gave me so much support in life, and I can never thank him enough. He was one of the people that helped me get through my second one. He was one of the people who, it's another reason I was so confused. It's just, he knew I had those same thoughts. He knew it. He knew I had tried. And I feel like I never gave him the inkling that he could come to me if he felt like that. If that's what he felt, I wish he knew. He could have came to me. I would have told him he wasn't alone. I would have told him that he was cared for. I would have told him that he would have mattered. He was a talented dude. Dude was an artist, man. That's how my initial bond with him grew, was art. I fucking suck at art. He was so good, though. Like, just, how didn't I see it? How didn't I know? How did I not give him that inkling? How did I not make him see that he didn't have to? But I get it. Especially at that time in my life. I understood. I had just tried. Not even 6 months before.
And see, this is what... Go ahead, sorry.
Go ahead, I can't.
This is what we mean by there's always someone willing to help. There's always someone willing to lend an ear, lend a shoulder, give you a hug, be there for you in your time of need. It's just about reaching out, showing them that you care, showing someone that there's reason, there's meaning. And I'm sorry you had to go through that. I truly am. But know that if you need it, I will be there for you. And you as well. But just remember, guys, just if this is something that's at the forefront of your mind, seek help in whatever way you feel comfortable doing it in. Like he said, the number's at the bottom of the screen if you think that'll help. If not, reach out to us in the Discord. But just, yeah.
My thing, as I tell everybody that has dealt with it the same way as you, I hate when people blame themselves. I will always say that. I don't care how mad it makes somebody at me. You cannot blame yourself when your friend, family, anybody does it. Because just as you said, he understood what you just went through. He could have reached out. He could have done any of the things that you should have done.
I mean, I don't blame myself anymore, but in that moment at that time, it's very hard not to. It's very fucking hard not to. Especially when it's someone that is that fucking close to you. I agree. You shouldn't blame yourself.
Yeah.
I know that now. But in that moment, you might. And you're going to think you have the most valid of reasons to. You do not have to. Because I do look back and exactly what I said. He knew I had just been through it. He knew. He could have came to me. At least I hope he knew he could have came to me.
He did.
He had the option. But he didn't. He felt that was his answer.
Yeah.
And I know that now. But at the time, I blame myself. I don't blame myself anymore. And just telling someone you shouldn't blame yourself isn't going to fucking stop it.
No.
They're gonna, whether you say it or not.
Yeah. 100%.
So,
absolutely.
You shouldn't. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. You're probably gonna. Some might not. Some are going to understand off rip that it's not their fault. Some people aren't going to understand that off rip. Just like we said, time heals a lot of things in a past episode or even this episode. I can't remember right now. My brain is shot.
You're good.
But time will heal. You will understand through time that it was not your fault.
There's different versions
Especially
of healing.
when blaming yourself can push you to a point where you may commit yourself. And you need to realize that it is not your fault. I find it hard to say because I know a lot of people don't fucking agree with this fact either. I shouldn't say fact, but don't agree with this thought. I don't even think it's their fault, to be totally honest. I don't. The person who commits suicide, I don't think it's their fault. I don't think it's anyone's fault. I think it's some shit that went down. Because I don't think anyone actually goes into that act and thinks, I'm going to commit suicide because of this reason, and this is what is going to happen after. I don't think anyone goes in it with this list of facts and goes, this is the, yep, I went over all my options, this is the right one.
Yeah.
But I'm going off. Go.
No, you're good. My thing is just sometimes people need to hear it. I'm not saying you. I'm saying some people need to hear it, that it's not their fault. That some people are a puzzle that are missing some pieces, and you think you're that missing piece. You're not. I agree with you on most of it. When somebody commits suicide, I don't think it's their own fault. I think it's mostly the world's. I don't think, again, when I wanted to the first time, it had nothing to do with me just going like, I think, no, it was, I kept getting judged. I kept getting looked at like, why aren't you like her? Why aren't you like your sister? Why aren't you this? And I just kept judging myself on that because I was getting judged. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just me going like, I could be this and I could be that. That's not how I am. Mine was, it's because it's family. I should be like that and I should be like that, but I'm not. Today, again, the stats on suicide is higher than it's been. It went down a little bit on certain things, but a lot of it is up. And I think it's because you just judge and you get judged. There's like the social media, whatever it is, right? There's a lot that you will judge yourself on and that you will also be judged on. So it's hard for me to look at it and go, well, somebody's going to commit suicide because of their own thought process for this. They're going to go, I'm going to commit suicide because I'm not good enough and I'm not this and I'm not that and I'm not this. So this is what I'm going to do. I think it's, I'm going to commit suicide because I can't do this like this person, or I can't do that like this person wants me to be, or I can't be this because of this person. And they just keep judging themselves based on another, based on another, based on another, based on another. And they go, yeah, I shouldn't be here. And that's it. They don't look at it any other way other than I'm going to judge myself based on how I'm judged. And then that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to live my life for me. I have all of this shit that happened, but I can still be something. I can still push myself to do something. I can still succeed in something I believe in. But instead, it was, I can't do any of that because all of this is what's getting judged and what's getting pushed on me. Mm-hmm. So I do agree with, to a certain extent, it's not their fault. At the end of the day, yes, it's them doing it. Yeah. At the end of the day, yes, we all tried to kill ourselves. It's not somebody had it. No, it's none of that. It's I put my head in the noose. I had my hand on it. So it is, at the end, my fault. But I don't think mentally it's my fault. I don't think mentally speaking it is, because you're just judged. It sucks now more than ever, because everything you can look up and turn to and see is just something you could be. It's just something better. It's the grass is greener on the other side everywhere. And instead of just worrying about your own lawn, you're looking everywhere else.
Why is it my lawn is green?
But it's always that. And I look at it that way. If somebody goes, the grass is greener on the other side, you have to go, okay, then that means my neighbor looking at me is thinking that. That means my neighbor thinks that their lawn isn't green enough. Does that mean I'm going to go over there and judge them and base them off of that? No.
I think that can have two different things, is with your outlook of do it for yourself. Yeah, sure, the grass is greener on the other side, but you know what? I'm going to do the work to make sure my grass is that green. I'm going to do the work to make sure my grass is greener than that.
That's what I'm saying, is I want my neighbor to look at my grass and think that. I want the neighbor to look and go, hey, how is your grass that green?
Ask for help.
You already saw where I was going with it.
Yeah, I did.
But that's what it is. You have to look at it and go, hey, yes, the grass may be greener from your perspective for this person. Think about the person behind you. It's the same as, it's just, again, the number is just unrealistic for me. But if we look at it, 11 and a half minutes.
In the time that we've been recording so far. About an hour and 22 minutes.
Okay.
7 people have taken their life. 7 people in the time that we've been talking to you have taken their life. More have even thought about it. It's scary. And it's sad. Those 7 people could have been helped. And in 10 more minutes, there goes another one. The fact that it's not being brought to the attention of more prominent people is baffling. And the fact that no more is not being done about it is horrible in my eyes. It's disheartening to say the least.
Suicide is a big deal. Thoughts and the action are both big deals. I don't care who you are. I don't care what race or gender. I don't care what you think you are. Any of it. I don't care who you think you are. Ask for help. Somebody is that puzzle. And somebody is missing that puzzle piece, and they will never be able to put that puzzle piece back together. Help them create a new puzzle. Help them see the picture that is beyond the one that they can see. Mine is help them create the puzzle of themselves. Mine is help them show them that the puzzle that they're building isn't for themselves. That puzzle is for the world to see. That puzzle is for everything else. Who cares what the world sees? Who cares what the world thinks of you? Create a new puzzle for yourself. You have all the pieces right in front of you. I promise you that. All the pieces are there for you. If you need help, you can ask for help, but understand the pieces are there for you. It may be hard to find the corners. It may be hard to find the sides. I'm not good at finding the sides.
Sides and the corners are probably the easiest thing to find in a
for
puzzle.
For me, I'm always the last one to find the side pieces because I'm very bad at jumbling them all
Just look
together.
for an edge, man.
I'm just bad at it.
Well, some of the puzzles now actually have flat pieces in the middle, which is absolute bullshit. But
Yeah, no, those are the ones that are like 80 plus.
I don't like those. Anyways, I was like, what?
You got nothing to do with your day.
But it's, again, if you need the help, you can ask for help in a lot of different ways. A podcast might help. A video might help. A Twitch streamer might help. A YouTube streamer might help. The suicide hotline is always there. Friends, family, animals. It's literally, there's so many different things that you can do. You can watch a random YouTube video about something and it will make you smile. And that smile will make you remember that suicide is not the answer. You can watch a video about, I don't know, cats being dumb like we all do. And laugh videos about them and go, you know what? That problem isn't as big as I thought it was. Time to carry on. Time to move on to the next day. Time to live my life for me. My thing with this will always be, there's way too many people that talk about it, but not enough action for it. It's annoying as hell to see it. It's the same with the mental health, especially for males. There's a lot of talk about it, but there's nothing being done about it. Talking about it helps, but you need to bring action. You need to do something more. Sure, making a viral TikTok helps. Do more with it. That's how I see it. But with suicide, understand that is not the answer. Understand that question isn't getting asked. It's not. The question is not getting asked. So don't answer it with suicide. Talk to other people. Talk to your therapist. Read a book. Whatever you need to do.
Go on a drive.
Tony Robbins, baby. No? Okay.
Who the fuck is Tony
You don't know
Robbins?
who Tony Robbins is? We'll be talking about this after.
Yeah, no. Bye-bye.
Some people are going to know what that meant. Tony Robbins is a motivational speaker, and he speaks a lot on self-help and self-motivation. That's who Tony Robbins is.
Okay. Anyway.
Again, we know this is a dark subject. We understand we went a lot of places with this, and we didn't really stay on topic too much, but you also understand why. This isn't something that we have, give me the board real quick. We didn't do a single thing on here in an order. We had this there for us to look at. The whole time, this was there for us to look at. We didn't do anything in this order. This was the first thing we did, and it was supposed to be last. So I'm letting you guys understand something and see something.
But then again, you wrote that
I know, but
before we
I'm
had
saying,
the story.
You just messed up this whole thing. I hate you so much. I'm just kidding.
Even if that was in the right order, we still didn't do the rest of it.
No, that's what I'm saying. Nothing is right
There are 8 things on this. None of it was done.
in an order. It's our brains are going everywhere with this because for all 3 of us, this is a huge impact on our mental health and for our mental recovery. It is extremely hard to recover from any kind of suicide, either the thoughts of it, attempting it yourself, or being there when somebody did. It is extremely hard to get over this for the mental health aspect of it. But you can. And there is a way. In my eyes, at least. I don't think there's anything mental that we can't help ourselves on, especially suicide. Again, 93% of the people think it can be prevented. I am one of those people. No matter what, you are worth it. You live your life for yourself. You love yourself. You love anybody that you can, and you continue. If you need help, we've said it before, we'll keep saying it, numbers at the bottom. If you're having any thoughts, call the number. If you don't want to do that, friends, us, family, Discord, YouTube, we don't care. Any other way you can reach out, reach out. We are here. We want to help you. That's all I got to say. Bye-bye.
I wish I could talk more on the subject, but I feel we're running a bit long for our normal podcast times. But like he said, we're going to be there for you guys. Your friends and family will be there for you. There's always someone out there willing to help. So just remember, somebody cares. We care. And I know that for a fact. We wouldn't be doing this if we didn't. Have a good night.
You are not alone. Whether you know it or not, someone is there for you. If you don't need someone, or you don't think you need someone, you need to do it for yourself. You are worth it. Whether you feel like you're worth it to yourself or not, you are. If you need help, we're here. The number's down there. Call it if you need it. Call us. Do what you can. But it's not the answer. We love you. Good night.
I don't know what button to push. The red one?
This is the one with the red circle. Bye.